When used today, the word hate is a powerful word. However, in the language Jesus spoke back then, the word hate was a first century Hebrew expression that we should not take literally. We should think of it as telling us that loving God is more important than anything else. Jesus is asking for first place in our hearts. He is not asking us to abandon our families. After all, in the society in which Jesus lived, people's whole lives centered on their families. Jesus used extreme language so that people would not forget what he is asking, namely our wholehearted and uncompromising commitment to follow in his way, live in his truth, and share life with him. Now, we all have obligations, responsibilities, and commitments, especially to our families, and only 24 hours in any one day to meet our responsibilities. But as noted in today's first reading and responsorial psalm, time is precious. Nevertheless, we need to ask ourselves where our hearts really are and how much of our inner selves we are giving to God. Just where is God in our lives? Just how important is God in our lives? Today's gospel account is noteworthy for its extremes. On the one hand, it presents the fundamental and uncompromising demands that Jesus makes on those who would be his followers, and at the same time emphasizes the gentleness and compassion of Jesus for the sinful and the weak. These commitments are extreme, but they are not contradictory. In today's gospel, we find Jesus surrounded by a huge crowd of people. They are full of enthusiasm and expectation. But Jesus, very quickly and abruptly, stops them in their tracks. If anyone comes after me, Jesus says, and is not prepared to hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, and indeed one's own very self, he or she cannot be my disciple. But he's not asking us to abandon our families. He is asking us to put the love of God in first place. We should remember that if we love God, we will love others and love them with his love. To abandon our families or not giving them the best of our love and care would be highly irresponsible, and at the same time, a violation of God's commandment of universal love. But it is also clear that for those who want to be part of Jesus' work, they must give themselves to it wholeheartedly. And where there is a choice between the ways of this world, they must reject the allurements of this world. But that takes discipline and planning. And in fact, it does not just happen. Jesus says that no one can be a disciple of his who is not ready to let go of everything he or she thinks to be of such importance, setting God aside and giving God little time and attention. How many in the crowd who were listening to Jesus were ready for that? How many of us in our day are ready for that? And what are the things that we cling to? What are the things that we can't let go of? And why? To be a disciple of Jesus means being free. To be free to love Jesus and walk in his ways requires that we say no to a whole lot of other things. Do we want to be a disciple of Jesus? Are we ready to pay the price that he asks? Now, many voices in our surrounding world attempt to tell us what is evil is good, and what is good is evil. For example, many voices are telling us about this November's California Proposition 1. The truth is that the proposition would enshrine the explicit right to abortion in our state constitution, setting a nationwide precedent. It is the most egregious expansion of abortion this country has ever seen. Please get past the lying voices. Read the truth on the California Catholic Conference website. And then on November 8th, vote no on Proposition 1. Now, a good religious education and prayer life will help us make critical judgments, such as the one in Proposition 1, to differentiate between what is merely superficial and what is of substance. That is what today's gospel is all about. It is challenging us to see things in context and to place things in their proper perspective. If we put the way and the truth and the life of Jesus as first in our concerns, we will find a life immeasurably beyond mere pleasure. We will find everlasting happiness.